Welcome, everybody, to our final public image webinar of the 2023-24 Rotary year. My name is Kyle Haugen. I'm the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zones 25B and 29 for a few more days, and glad you're all here today. A couple things, if you want to just mute yourself just so we don't have any background noise, you can always unmute yourself at any point in time, but go ahead and do that. I think you know everything else. We will be having some Q&A at the end of our session today. So if you have any questions that you want answered during that Q&A, go ahead and either send them to me in the chat or to Patrick Harrison in the chat as well. That'll make it real easy. In fact, I'm going to make Patrick a co-host as well, because then I think his little chat thing will be at the top too. For a lot of you that have been on these in the past, the goal of these public image webinars is really to provide updates and meaningful information to all of you throughout our zones and beyond, and so that you can go out and enhance the image people have of us as Rotary. And I think today's edition will be no different. Well, I usually start by introducing our public image team. We're going to change the order a little bit, and I'm going to make a couple of announcements first. Our team knows that there are a ton of resources out there throughout the Rotary world, and I'm sure you come across them too. Some of them are useful. Some of them may not be fully compliant, looking at you, Google image search. But regardless of the source, it's hard to find everything. I think we can all agree on that. That's why we've worked to build a public image resource library on our zone website. Think of it as a one-stop shop for you to visit and make it your first visit. And if you can't find what you're looking for, reach out to us, because we can help add that as well. And Gretchen just put that in the chat. She'll be putting some links in here. Speaking of the public image team, both this year's version and next year's version, we're here to help you. That's our job, is to be a resource for all of the districts and clubs and Rotarians throughout our zones. So if you need us to assist with any idea generations, team meetings, training sessions, that's what our job is. So while we're trying to be as proactive as possible, we aren't mind readers, obviously, so don't be afraid. Feel free to reach out to us as well. And as we move forward towards the 2024-25 year, as you're planning, as you're starting to implement those plans, if you need help, we're a resource for you. One more resource for those of you here in our zones is the regional Rotary roadmap. If you're in district leadership, it's a great tool for you to utilize in your planning efforts, and it helps you not only to not have to reinvent the wheel every year. Remember, the more we can build on what we do year after year, the more successful we'll be in our clubs, districts, and throughout Rotary. So if you're in district leadership, utilize that roadmap. If you're not, take a look at it as well, because you might get some ideas to use in your club. A couple of reminders on the Rotary calendar. Tomorrow we'll be having the annual Zone 25-29 Leadership Celebration and Crossover event, which will be held from 5 to 6 p.m. Central via Zoom. This is a fun event. Join our Rotary International Director and Rotary Vice President Pat Merriweather to celebrate and recognize the current district governors and regional leaders whose terms are coming to an end on June 30th, and welcome the incoming leaders who will be starting their roles on July 1st. Joining Pat will be incoming Rotary International President Stephanie Urchik, our incoming Rotary International Director Salvador Rizzo, along with Rotary Foundation trustees Greg Pod and Jennifer Jones. So a star-studded cast, and all of you can join in as well. So please come and help recognize our leadership who have put so much time, energy, and effort into leading our districts and zones. And if we're doing these changeover celebrations, that means a new Rotary year is right around the corner. July 1st is the start of the year. So if you have anything to finish up for 2023-24, such as, maybe a last-minute donation to the Rotary Foundation, now's the time to do that. And make sure to thank your outgoing club and district leaders for their efforts as well. One more key event coming up is our Zone Institute, which is September 4th through the 8th in San Antonio. We just heard a weather report on San Antonio in early September, so Make sure to bring your parkas or just leave them at home. If you're in district leadership, registration is now open. Make sure you register before August 1st, as the early bird pricing goes away at that point. If you haven't been to a Zone Institute, they're well worth it. And I know our friends in San Antonio are planning a heck of an event this year. So I'd encourage you to make sure that you think about coming to the Zone Institute, where you get to learn a little bit about everything that is Rotary on a bigger scale. So those are my announcements and calendar things for the day. So let's move on to our main show. Before I begin, I'd like to mention again, we have time for Q&A at the end. So if you have a question along the way for any of us, message Patrick or myself in the chat and we'll coordinate that at the end. Also, we're recording this session and we'll have the full webinar in our resource library, and we'll be sending it out to all of you as well. So as we start, since this is the end of the Rotary year, as we talked about what to do on this one, we decided not to bring in a subject matter expert from outside or anything, but we wanted to recognize our team members that have been part of this public image team for the last few years and look forward as well, but also hear from them who have become somewhat public image experts. So it's my great pleasure to introduce, as you can see on your screen, there's our public image team for 2023-24. This is the team for another 5 days. There will be some changes next year, including my 3-year term as Rotary Public Image Coordinator, or team leader as I like to call it, will end on June 30th, as will the terms of several of our assistant public image coordinators. And I'd like to ask you to just please help me thank Sean Berry, Hunter Byington, Scott McLaughlin, and Gretchen Nolman for their efforts over the past 3 years. So I know it's hard to do on Zoom, but give them a thumbs up or a clap or something there from that standpoint. So since several of us are terming out, we thought it would be a great idea to hear from them today. So Sean, Hunter, Scott, and Gretchen have all spent 3 years in their assistant coordinator roles, and they've learned a lot about public image and Rotary along the way. Now, we're going to give them their chance to share what they've learned for the benefit of all of you. And so we're going to start here with a broad question, which is, all right, we got the 5 of us up there now, right, Sean? I think we got everybody. Let's start with a broad question, and I'll kind of go through these and call on you in different orders. What's one thing that you've learned over the past 3 years, hopefully about public image, that you didn't know beforehand? And Gretchen, we'll start with you.
Of course, me. So I'd probably say the biggest thing that I learned is that what public image really is, and it comes down to the storytelling side of it. And I really bought into that part of how it makes the connection between membership and foundation, that they're kind of the glue that keeps everything together. I didn't really know much about coming into this role 3 years ago, but I've learned a lot, and taking away the fact of you need to make sure you're telling your story so people know why the reasons are that you're a Rotarian.
Absolutely. Yeah, that story is so important. And I think when you're able to tell that, it just gets more people more interested in wanting to hear more. Sean, how about you? What did you learn that you didn't know beforehand?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that. Public image, there's a lot to public image. And I didn't know that there was so much. It's not just branding and social media. It's where you meet, the way you greet your potential members or guests at your meeting, how the public perceives us, even how you act at your service projects and other events.
Yeah, it is. As we like to say in our different trainings and everything, public image is everything in Rotary. I'm trying not to say too much because, I don't want to steal thunder here. Hunter, what did you learn in your 3 years in this role that you didn't know beforehand?
Well, I was taller when we started. I think the biggest challenge I found is, and what I learned is, when we began, we were all still focusing a lot on websites. And in the last 3 years, or really, it's been transitioning from websites to social media, which means that the emphasis on branding, messaging, storytelling falls into many parts instead of one silver bullet, which it used to be with the website. And so that's my big takeaway is watching that and trying to find a way to, because every group, every club has a different messaging path and to their community and to their individuals that are members. And it's been a lot of fun working with everybody trying to help them accomplish that.
Sure. Thanks, Hunter. Scott, how about you? What's one thing you learned?
Sure, leave me for last. So everybody
this one.
says all the good stuff. But I'll tell you what, one thing that, everything kind of tie everything together, what Sean and Hunter and Gretchen said, whereas public image is everything. One thing I learned a long time ago, I heard from, I think at the time he was Rotary International Vice President Greg Pod, now one of the trustees. He spoke at, I believe it was at a PETS conference for us. Of course, he's from Colorado, so I, see him quite often here in the Midwest. But he made a comment. He said that you don't know what you don't know, and that's so true. And it's very true about public image. There's so many things that you don't even realize is part of public image. And I guess one thing that I would like to impart on people is don't think you know everything and don't think you don't know nothing, because there's so many things that this team of people that we're all wrapped in together with can, offer great help, great assistance, great sounding board. I mean, today it was an example of that, just me reaching out to our team to get a question answered.
Yeah. And that nobody has every answer, but if we work together, we're going to get to all of them somehow or another, or we'll at least find somebody that does. Let's shift and go to, I like to focus on best practices sometimes too. So in your roles, you were able to interact with districts and clubs from across our zones. What was the favorite public image related activity you saw a district or club conduct? And Sean, why don't we lead off with you?
I think the one that comes to mind is the districts in Minnesota, 5960, 5915, 5580, have partnered together for a Rotary Day at the Capitol to bring awareness about Rotary, what we do in our communities and around the world. They planned it for the last couple of years. They talked to legislators about important issues in our communities and how they can help as state representatives.
Yeah, and as long as we're talking about that one for a second, I'm gonna pull up a quick little picture because this is pretty cool. One of the things that that Rotary Day at the Capitol did was able to lobby for the last several years, but lobby for a Minnesota license plate for Rotary, and there's what the sample is going to look like. So if you live in Minnesota or want to title a car in Minnesota or want to move to Minnesota, you'll be able to have that starting January 1st of this year. So that's kind of that's an exciting little thing that group was able to do. So yeah, good idea.
Picture back up there real quick.
What's that?
Can you throw that picture back up there for 1 sec? I want to take a picture.
Oh, I will try my best. I don't know where I just put it even.
You can find it on Tom Gump has it on his Facebook page.
All right, here it is again. Yep. All right. Well, we put that up there. We will shift to Hunter. What was the favorite? What was the favorite public image related activity you saw a district or club conduct?
Well, we actually had two, I think. One is being able to, along with you guys, get Chicago selected as the in 2030 for the our international convention. But what made that interesting was the work that several of the districts together did, not only in helping get that, but then publicizing it we pushed all the buttons for the business press, the local television stations like Channel 9, and we got incredible reach for it. And it was just really a lot of fun to see that happen. And all we did was follow the rules, right? Which we all talk about. The second thing, though, was shortly before that, the district did a membership development program downtown, where we occupied just a block from the Apple Store, talking about Rotary and setting up tables, having placards, banners, and we had about 15 clubs. But again, two of the districts worked together to make that happen, and it was an all-day affair. So it was a good example of combining membership with public image, which is I think one of the things we want to really have happen in the future.
Cool. Thanks. Scott, how about you?
I think probably one of the things that I enjoy the most every year is going to pets, and I've done that for years and years. I think I've been to pets in my 21 years in Rotary, I think 17 times. So it's always a lot of fun. And one thing I enjoy the most is doing those individual training sessions. And obviously over the last 4 years being the Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator, they leaned on me to do public image training. And I really enjoyed that. And it's something that often gets overlooked. There's a lot of focus on membership. There's a lot of focus on foundation, obviously, and public image kind of gets set aside sometimes. So it was nice to be able to have that specific time to be able to do that training. I remember the time that I had down in Kansas at the Midlands Pets, and that was really fun.
Cool. Yeah, pets is certainly a great time. Gretchen, how about you? What's your favorite activity you saw?
Well, I got two. One was when both districts, 5970 and 6000, got together and did an all Iowa district conference. That was fun to see the collaboration on that side. And I was early in on the zone position with that and stuff. But most recently, near and dear to my heart, obviously my own district 6000, we had a great district conference celebration. And it was right around the same time as the public service announcements came out of these new recordings of videos. And not very many people obviously knew about it yet. And having access to it was really neat to be able to share with our district. And so many Rotarians were excited to see it and stuff. And then a week later, we had that nice last web Zoom with you, Kyle, and you had talking about it and stuff like that. So it was really neat to see, because it's definitely been more talked about. And everyone's like, oh, where do you get those videos? Where do you get those videos? So it's been a great talking point for that, and it's really helping people come around to know those videos are really important.
Cool, thanks. To all of you, and I'm going to pare this down a little bit. I was going to ask you 3 takeaways, but what are 1 or 2 takeaways you feel are important to leave with this audience or any audience regarding public image and Rotary? And Scott, since you went last the first time, you get to go first this time.
I think having fun, we always say have a good time, have fun in your Rotary meetings, but I think also take that to the extent that you're doing public image and satisfying those public image needs for your clubs and your districts. Just have a good time with it. Don't look at it as, a necessary evil where you've got to do something, one way and only one way. There's still a lot of creativity that can be involved, and people, I think, need to just have a good time with that.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Hunter, how about you? What are 1 or 2 takeaways you would share with an audience?
I would just say, given the transition from website, newspapers, and traditional media to social media, I would suggest every club look at what they do both in Facebook, but also something they seem to want to run away from, which is TikTok and Instagram. And I believe that they've got to focus on both because they keep saying they want to get younger members, but yet don't communicate with them. And so my takeaway would be is let's start using that built-in camera for the phone that everybody's got in their hand turn it around. If it's Instagram, turn it this way. If it's Facebook, turn it this way, and shoot video of what you're doing and tell the community. It was hard enough trying to go when we started 3 years ago to just get them to do press releases. But maybe it'll be easier doing it with a phone in your hand, aim it. There are things like iCloud that take those videos, and then you can easily move them into Facebook and TikTok.
Sure, makes sense. And let's see, Sean, a takeaway or two on your end of things that you'd like to share.
Well, public image is hard. There's a lot to learn, a lot to do with it. I say find a team and divvy up the tasks, whether you're on district or a large club or even a small club, divvy up those tasks. You can be the leader, but you divvy up those tasks. And the second one would be a promo for Zone Institute. So go to Zone Institute if you get a chance to. You meet tons of like-minded people, learn a lot. My district actually sent me in my president year in 2018 for the Emerging Leaders Program. When I returned, I created the People of Action photo app because I was frustrated with the RI version, released it, and then district asked me to be on the public image team. And then Kyle made me be on this team for 3 years.
Yes, I made you. You're right. You're right. I think if there's one person that's going to be okay with me not calling them as much anymore, it's Sean. All right, let's look back. One final question for all of you. Looking back on the past 3 years, what's one thing you'll remember the most? It can be a specific event, a lesson learned, whatever it is. Hunter, what's one thing that your greatest memory, we'll call it?
Well, everybody here is pushing the zone, and I agree. I think the zone was probably one of the most impressive and impressionable annual events that we all did. And I think it helped build team and structure, and the outcomes I'll butter you up for a little bit, but your leadership did help because you were pretty clear. Let's do these things. We left every meeting with a to-do list. And while most people don't sign up looking for to-do lists, I think it really worked with this group, and I just totally enjoyed it.
Thanks, Hunter. Thanks. And let's see, Sean, how about you? What's your favorite? What's the one thing you'll remember the most?
I think it's just the great people I met, whether it's over at Zone or at other events, just all those great people.
Yeah, it's not the car ride to and from Chicago with me.
Oh, that was fun. That was great. Especially the ride home when we were both falling asleep.
Yeah, that worked out well. We made it though. Scott, how about you? What's one thing you'll remember the most?
Well, I have a prop here I'm going to share. So those of you that have been there will know what this is.
Yes. Yes.
Remember that? So that was the one really remarkable evening that we had together. I think it was in Minneapolis, the Mall of America, if I remember right. We all went to dinner at Benihana, and we had a great time. It was good conversation. We bonded well. That was kind of our first big get together back in I don't know, 3 years ago, I guess. But that was a lot of fun, and I'll never forget that night together.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it was partly that was the second year as that we were all on the team, but I wasn't able to go to the first Zone Institute because my mom had a kidney transplant that week.
Right.
But yeah, that was fun being able to get together and get to know each other and everything like that. Gretchen, how about you? What's one thing you'll remember the most?
The zone and meeting the relationships, but definitely going to Party City with you and Patrick was probably my greatest fun, getting the room set up and everything for the Minneapolis.
And you did an awesome job.
Yeah, but no, it was just the connections and the relationship, to piggyback onto what Sean said.
And what nobody, what you may not understand from that is at the Zone Institute in Minneapolis, they had a competition for room decorations, and Gretchen drove in to Minneapolis a day early. Patrick flew in a day early, and we went to Party City for about 3 hours to figure out what we could get for under $100 to make our room the best it could be. So, yeah, and we didn't win. One more time, the four of you, you came in as part of the team when I was just starting. So we've been along for the ride together. Thank you so much for your efforts over the past 3 years. It's been phenomenal working with you. I think we've worked hard to increase the understanding of how important public image is in Rotary, and we've had a lot of fun while we did it. I'll certainly miss working with all of you, and I hope we find more ways to work together going forward. So everybody, please please join me in recognizing Gretchen, Sean, Hunter, and Scott one more time. So thanks, guys. All right. And now what we'll do is, if obviously if the terms for Hunter and Sean and Scott and Gretchen and myself are ending, that means we have new members of the team coming aboard. And I'd like to introduce to you the person taking over for me as public image coordinator. And that's somebody that is from the Rotary Club of Austin Cosmopolitan in Texas, Patrick Harrison. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you. And I just have to say, what a great team that I've been a part of for the last 3 years as a advisor. And it's been an honor to be with this incredible group and all those memories of Party City and Benihana's, even though I still need my Buddha. I need to go get my Buddha. But yeah, it's been a great team. Seriously, the energy you guys have had, the passion you guys have had, and we've worked hard. So I want to thank you so much for all you guys have done. And we're all a family. So you're not going, we're all going to still continue to build this family of public image. So thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to try. And you've certainly been a great member of the team over the past several years. First, you had your 3 years as an assistant public image coordinator back prior to our zones coming together. But then the last 3 years, I've asked you to serve as an advisor to the team because where I'm up here in Minneapolis, I wanted somebody that could help me make relationships in Texas. And I've appreciated that. We've worked very well together, have become great friends. And thank you for all your efforts, energy, wisdom over the last 3 years. And I think the way we've worked together has helped the entire team achieve more success. And I truly do appreciate everything. So now I'll step aside and ask you to say a few words and introduce your team for next year.
Sure. And also, Kyle, I'm going to say this probably at the end as well, but you have been a great leader. You have done so much. You have dedicated so much time and energy. You have put so much passion towards this. And I just want to thank you for all you've done. Big shoes to fill. So again, let's give a round of applause for Kyle for all you've done. And you wore the most interesting shirt ever in a meeting.
It's my fancy Zoom shirt.
So I have to go get one of those now. But again, seriously, thank you for all you have done.
Welcome.
First of all, everybody, this is exciting. First of all, and bittersweet because some of these people, Hunter, I've seen you for years. You and I were on another team together. Gretchen, Scott, Sean, Kyle, you guys are family. And you'll be, like I said, we're one big family. So we're going to continue to grow this family. And we have an exciting team coming forward, which I'm going to announce in just a second. And we also have some exciting things that we're going to continue to build on. And I don't have time to get into all of it right now, but we are going to be sending an email out in July and have some messaging that you will be getting. But just to keep your eye out for our first virtual connection hour that we'll be having in July, which is a time for us to just be on a Zoom for people to jump on all over the region, zones 25B and 29, to come talk public image. You can ask questions. You can vent if it's nice. You can try to fix some issues. You can do graphic questions. You can talk public image. You can synergize. You can meet people. We really want to build a space for virtual connection hour with public image. We want to build this throughout the year, every month, so that we can start building relationships with you. And that can be from the DG lines all the way down to anybody that's just a Rotarian that wants to say, hey, I want to jump on here and learn more about public image. So keep an eye out for that. We're also going to be really on the ground. especially up in 29 this year. That's one of our goals, is to really be on the ground in 29, really on the ground in 25B. We want to be doing a lot of trainings or learning opportunities. It's the new word that I have to continue to learn how to use. So be looking out for that as well. We're going to continue to build up the resource library, going to continue to expand on what's already been done. And so a lot of exciting things ahead. We're going to continue to do some webinars as well. So more to come on all that. But we can't do it alone. We have an amazing team that we're building. Some of them have been on the team already and they're coming along for the ride, thank God. And we have some real exciting new people as well. So I'd like to introduce that now. So Kyle, if you can put that up. And they are with us today. I don't know if we can spotlight them or what, but some of them are with us today. So I'm going to start with, let's see here. Let's start with Linda Marin. Linda Marin, thank you so much. I know you're here today. Ben Bauer, I know Ben is here as well. Thank you so much for being here. Pam Blankensee, she's here as well. Rebecca Maxwell, thank you as well for being here. Rebecca's already an AR pick, and so is Ben. They are both AR picks. Rod Zunica, he's also an AR pick already. So so Rod and Rebecca and Ben are on the team now, and they're going to continue, and we're so thankful for that. Stephanie Meyer and Amy Kilgore, and they are all on here. And then I am so thankful to have my Rotary partner in crime, who was an AR pick for 3 years, and she's coming in to be the team advisor like I was for Kyle, and that's Amber Scarborough, and she's on here as well. So we have a team that we're going to continue to, did I forget anybody? I did not. So we're going to continue to build on this team as well. So if you have anybody that you think would be a dynamic member of this team, especially in 29, please let us know. We're always looking for new members. We will meet them, get to know them, and see if they're the right fit. But we will continue to build this team. But this is a rock star group of people that are passionate and are ready to really continue to do the great work that has already been done and build on it and get to know all of you. So if you can give a round of applause to this great group, and we're excited. And great, look at this great looking group. You guys all dressed up today. I like it. All right, Kyle, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Patrick. You're welcome. And yeah, Patrick, I think it's still
oh, it's still me. Sorry.
It's still you. Yeah.
Sorry. It's been a long day. So Kyle, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. So since you were interviewing the AR picks, I wanted to interview a couple questions, or interview you and take a moment just to capture your 3 years. Okay. So what was one of the things that you've learned, like one of the big learns, one of the big things, the big moments that you can take away over the past 3 years of public image? Because you came in from a foundation background. So what is one of the things that you're like, hey, that's public image?
Yeah, I mean, and it is. I mean, I've joked at trainings and things like that like, out of everyone in the room, I'm the only one that hasn't been a club or district public image chair, nor was I in that line of professional work. But it was one of those things that I guess somebody thought that I understood how the Rotary Foundation and public image and membership and everything else all fit together for Rotary, and so I'd be good for this. And I think the biggest thing I've learned, and it's really the best way to encapsulate it is a definition I found of public image probably a year ago, which is, public image is the perception that other people have of us. It's the perception that we have of ourselves and the perception we want to have. And that's just so all encompassing that it's not just a website or a social media or a Facebook page or a meeting location or a newspaper article or a TV spot or anything. It's all that stuff. And it's something that, we really need to be able to look and see how those perceptions of our clubs are in our communities. And just as importantly, and this is the part that I think gets forgotten sometimes, is how the perceptions of our members are. And then what do we want those perceptions to be? Because when people have a more positive perception of something, they're going to be more interested in being part of it. And so by being intentional about looking at those perceptions, and I love that word, perception. When I saw that definition, I just kind of went, oh, okay, I'm going to use this a lot. So I think that's the one thing I learned was just how broad the public image really is in Rotary.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were an AR pick for 3 years before you took this
Mhm.
role. So you've gotten to see from an AR pick role as well as an R pick. You've been around a lot of districts, a lot of
Right.
clubs throughout.
Right. Now, admittingly, I didn't do a very good job as a assistant public image coordinator. Between it was the year after I was district governor, so I was trying to do everything there, and then the 2 years I served as our district Rotary Foundation team leader. So I had a lot of things going on as well as a young family. So yeah, and just wasn't totally sure what the job was and what I was supposed to do, and so we did a couple good things, but it wasn't as I wouldn't say I was an A level assistant.
Well, with all the experience, what are some public image related activities that you've seen that you'd like to share with the audience that they might be able to take away and try to learn from and build from?
I think I'm going to answer this in a couple different ways. One of my favorite things that I've seen a district public image team do, and I know there's been a couple districts that have done this, is that they went ahead and created the properly branded Rotary logo for each club in their district and sent them to them as kind of a holiday gift. It just a really nice. It's you get so many clubs that either don't understand what proper branding is or are so unfamiliar with the Rotary Brand Center that they are worried about going in and trying to make their logo themselves. And so for a district to provide that to their clubs, not only is a nice thing to do, but it's that extra little, hey, this is the proper Rotary logo, and it's a conversation starter there as well. So that was a cool thing. And then I think just anything, if it's a district doing a Rotary Foundation, fundraising campaign that focuses on making sure that they're promoting it the right way and they have proper messaging. Those things are always good. And I gotta tell you too, and I wasn't really involved with this at all. But our Rotary Club last year, the public image team lead in our club, he worked with every committee within the club to calculate the number of lives that were impacted because of every donation, service project, or whatever it was. And so we were able to then say to our club members that, hey, because of your efforts, it just leave it at that, because it's either service efforts or the donations we were able to make because of our fundraising efforts. But to tell our members, because of you, we were able to impact 467,000 lives last year. Yeah. And then be able to promote that as well. That puts a real face on why we do what we do. So those are a couple things that stuck out to me that I saw.
And it also, like I've always been saying for years, the public image is everything, but part of it's inspiration. If I heard that in an audience, if I was in an audience where I just wrote a check for that cause in the district foundation or wherever it was,
yeah,
and I knew that I was impacting those lives, it just continues. Public image is involved.
Absolutely. It's that perception. Yeah.
What are 3 takeaways that you feel are important for any audience to take with them in regards to public image within Rotary?
Well, I think Sean kind of said it in a start. It's building that team and helping people understand why public image is important, and then sit down and things don't happen accidentally. So sitting down and really looking at what are we going to do this year to increase that image, and it's okay to do 2 or 3 things. Just do them well. Don't overwhelm yourself. and then build on it the next year. Once you've had that success, build on it from there. So that's I guess, don't do it alone would be number one. Be intentional, and then keep coming back to what kind of the theme is, like in everything. And it's telling the story, it's enhancing our perceptions that people have. How can we do that effectively? And everything needs to come back to the main talking points that we want to have. It's not just scattershot. There's a purpose for everything. So I think that's kind of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to talk about the impact. I guess, that's one of my other favorite words is impact. So talk about the impact we're having, because that's going to be the thing that really gets people emotionally engaged.
And and this is what I always like to say as well, if we would have talked about impact through the last 3 decades that Rotary's made, we wouldn't have a membership problem. So continue to talk about impact in the communities that Rotary's making in your club and internationally. So we're going to wrap up here on questions, but I want to ask this. What has inspired you the most this last 3 years? The one thing that's inspired you the most, and what are you going to miss the most?
Certainly the people. The people, the relationships I've made throughout the zone, it's incredible to hear different stories and get to know different people, get to know what makes them tick, and always be finding out about, something that they're good at. So then when I'm having another conversation, I can say, I know somebody that I want to connect you to, or, hey, here's something that I know this club did or this district did that I think might be beneficial for you. Having those one-on-one conversations where you can get a little deeper and hear about, what the immediate needs are of somebody, and then try to help meet those needs. And that's, I've joked forever that, 2 of my favorite things to do are have a beer and talk about Rotary. And so places like President-elect training or Zone Institute or a district conference, where you can spend that time not just in the session, but afterwards, and have those conversations with people. That's the part I'm going to miss the most, because there's just so many things that can be talked about. And I think one of the things I'm pretty good at is transferring my energy and passion to whoever the audience is, be it one person or 100 people. And so being able to transfer that excitement, get them excited too, is kind of one of those things.
Awesome. What's next for you?
What is next for me? I guess that kind of goes into 3 different parts, the Rotary life, the professional life, and the personal life. The personal life, which is obviously super important. And actually, your outgoing district governor, Bob's still this year, right, Patrick?
Yep.
Yeah. He asked me last fall, or last August, he says, "So what's next for you?" And I said, "I'm going to go coach my kids." My son's a 2nd grader, and I've done a lot of coaching in the past. And so it's starting to be fun, where now he's going to start getting into traveling baseball and basketball over the next year, and, helping him grow and helping the kids on his team grow in a way that it's more about building them as people and not being crazy youth sports parents. So that's the personal side of things. The professional side of things, we'll leave that for last. The Rotary side, there's a new role. It's the 3-year goal and plan leads that now the Rotary International Board is making more of a focus on, not having year over year goals, but let's have 3-year goals at a time. So we're working towards something, not just basically spending 4 to 6 months every year reinventing the wheel. And so Rich Kay and I are going to be the plan leads for our zones. And so I'm excited to work with district leadership on that. And I'm sure I'll do some stuff in my club and otherwise there. It'll be nice to take a little bit of a breath. And then professionally, I should probably find a job. As some people on the call know, that I've been in the insurance and financial services industry for 25 years, had my own agency, and last fall decided that I didn't want to do that for the next 25 years of my life. I had lost the fulfillment there. And through a lot of my volunteer activity, especially Rotary, I've gained passions and skills that are more aligned with helping people. And so going through the process of looking for a role with a mission-based organization to help them increase the impact that they can have on their communities. And so that's a new chapter there from that standpoint. So,
Well,
yeah, looking forward to that.
I think you're going to be great, and we wish you all the best with that. And I just want to say, as someone who has done a lot of transitions with team leads and working together as partners or producers, this has been a pleasure to work with you this last year. Obviously, we've been working together for years now, but this has been a wonderful partnership. Not everybody has this, and so it's been a blessing. And I want to thank you for being such a great brother in this and working together. And you have been a great team leader and our pick for this region, and an example of someone that really knows what they're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I want to touch on one thing there. You know, it's one of those things, you learn lessons from the past. You learn lessons a couple different ways. Either you can screw something up and learn from it, or you get lucky and have success, and so you just do it again, or you learn from somebody else. And so when I was our club president in 2009-10, I was our youngest president in our club's history, and I think we had a really good year. And part of it was because I put several past presidents on the board, because I knew, regardless of who the president of the club was, they were the people that the rest of the club listened to anyway. So I figured, let's have them part of the decision-making process rather than have them questioning the decisions that were being made. But I didn't ask them for a multi-year commitment. And so a lot of them, when the next president came in, a lot of them backed off the board, and he was fairly weak as a leader anyway. But now we had a very new board, and I didn't do a good job of helping him plan for the next year. And so from that standpoint, I watched our club, all of a sudden, as it was going up, it started to go down. And with better planning and now the other roles that I've been in Rotary, it's been very important that, okay, how, number one, do you work as a team? You know, be it in the district governor line or otherwise, where you have people that you're coming behind you and making decisions together, and those decisions are going to outpace your time in the role. But then also, you know, building a strong enough team where there are people on the team that become the logical successors, and so they're not jumping in and have no idea how deep the water is, or even if they have a swimsuit on or anything like that, but they're ready to go. And so that's, I think, something I've become better at over time. And I mean, I guess proof's in the pudding. We'll see how you do over the next couple of years. But but you know, it's one of those things you learn from experience. And I screwed it up the first time through, so I don't want to do that again.
Well, I just want to thank you, and also I think everybody on this call can take, as we all have, you know, this is not a, you know, Rotary. You know, sometimes people think Rotary is a competition. We can't lose that member. They can't go to that club, you know, or that. No, Rotary is a family. And as long as we can all be one big, large Rotary family and make the world a better place, that's why we're all here. And so I just want to thank everyone for being on this call today. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here today, because we know you have a lot of things you can be doing. I know it's hot and down south and it's raining and all this crazy stuff going on, but you chose to be here today. So we want to thank you for that. Kyle, again, thank you. Guys, Sean, Scott, Hunter, Gretchen, thank you for being here. Everybody else on the team, thank you for being here. We have a couple minutes for questions, right, Kyle?
Yeah, if anybody's got any, throw them in the chat box. I know Tamara had asked earlier how many districts have TikTok pages. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know that answer either. I do know some Rotaract clubs have TikTok that are pretty strong that I've seen. I do not see a lot of districts that have TikTok.
Right.
I know some district governors that have TikTok. But I can, if I find out, we'll send you that answer.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions?
Thanks very much, Patrick.
Yeah, yeah. Good to see you.
I have a question, Patrick.
Yes, hi. Hi, how are you?
There
I'm
she
doing
is.
well, and I have the GOAT Award.
You do.
Well, yeah, the GOAT Design Award
You
from our
won it.
zone.
Yeah.
So I want to know, do I take it back to San Antonio so someone else can win the GOAT? So it
You know,
goes.
that's so funny. I just brought that up the other day. I was like, are we doing that again this year? Let me ask that question actually, because you did win. You did, and you
Here it is.
deserved it. I will say we were second place. We were second place.
This is that room design. I'm still bitter over this, Elaine.
No, you did great. You did great. I'll ask that question. Good to see you.
I think that was our Oscar award moment where Patrick read the wrong winner. He felt bad going. Yeah, actually, Patrick told me yesterday or Sunday that he once lost a class president election because he thought it was only appropriate that he vote for the other guy and lost by one vote.
Lost by one
So
vote.
you gave us the shaft too, Patrick, where you didn't think it was appropriate that, our group won the best designed room award while you were announcing it. So you gave it to Elaine and Elise instead. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it, Elaine.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, anything else before we let y'all just unmute and say hi and bye? Did you get anything out of today? We hope that, Kyle and the team really wanted to let this be more of a Q&A so you could learn from their experiences for the last 3 years.
I wanted to ask about algorithms on social media
Yes.
that tend to be very negative. They reward the negative, the angry, the conflict, and yet Rotary is so happy and exciting. So is that a problem that we have on social media, that we're not angry enough and negative enough?
No. So in a short answer, without going down a deep rabbit hole, we can talk about this offline and come down to your district and do a learning session on proper posting. As long as you're posting properly with the right tags and hashtags, and you have the right intuitive messaging, you're going to get the reach that you want. What they're talking about more is if you're constantly feeding the beast with whatever you want to, you're going to get a certain group that's going to feed into whatever they're feeding into. Does that make sense? So if you know how to in which we train and learning session on, and we have resources all over that, tips and tricks, tools and resources on how to post correctly. When you start to get in the habit of doing that, tagging correctly, hashtagging correctly, getting in the habit of feeding that algorithm, feeding the SEO, you're going to get good reach and you're going to get the audience that you want.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Just have the plan and implement it, and encourage all your members to share it, like it, repost it, all those things, and it'll help overcome some of those algorithm things.
And I just have to say, side note, Tom, that is the best. I'm a New Yorker, okay, and I love the New Yorker magazine. And today, or a couple days ago, you posted the picture, and then today I looked at it. That is one of the best cartoon sketches. I love it. That was really good, Tom. Good to see you. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, Tom and Stephanie are in this issue of the Rotarian magazine, and there's a cartoon sketch, like a New Yorker sketch.
Oh.
Anybody else have any questions? John Picorni, it's really.
And if you mail them to me, I'll get them autographed by Tom. And
it's good to see everybody. Is everybody excited about the year ahead? Good. We're gonna have an amazing
Patrick, I just have to say, we beat your Longhorns.
Hey, don't say
Softball,
that kind of
4
stuff,
titles in a row.
Liz, don't say that kind of stuff. That's not
I
cool.
had to go there.
I know, don't do that. We have to be friends.
We are friends.
For those of you that don't understand, Liz and I love our rival football teams, like big time. So
Oklahoma for me, Texas for Patrick.
yeah, that's like Yankees and the Red Sox.
You almost said Yankees and Mets, didn't you?
I almost did.
Yeah.
I almost did, but
All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you all
guys
for
so
all your
much.
efforts. And
Thanks, Kyle.
certainly look forward to still being around and helping however I can, and I know everybody else will as well. So just keep moving the right direction, and remember everything you do helps Rotary move forward. In fact, I'll finish this with just real quick little um, one of the things I like at the end of a lot of presentations when I make them, share the story of the hummingbird, which goes a little like this if you've never heard it. But there's a fire in the burning down the forest, and a lot of the animals are sitting there. They all gather together, and they're just awestruck watching their homes burn down in flames, and they don't know what they can do. They're just paralyzed with fear and doubt and unknown and everything like that. All of them except a little hummingbird who says, "I'm going to do something about this," and flies down to the creek and gets one drop of water and goes up and puts the water droplet on the fire, and then just all day back and forth, going just one drop of water at a time. All the while, all the other animals who are bigger, stronger, faster, more storage capacity, all that, are sitting there going, "What are you doing? You know, you're too slow. You don't have enough storage. You're too small. You're too weak. You can't do anything to help with this fire." And without even slowing down, the hummingbird looks at him and she says, "I'm doing the best that I can." And that's, as Rotarians, that's what we do. We run towards the fire. We don't run away from the fire. And we tackle really big problems or small things in our communities, but whatever we do it. And I think if we all just remember that we can do the best that we can as individuals and not worry about how big the problem is, but if we all work together, we can make great things happen. So I'd encourage you to just keep that in mind and keep thinking about what can you do and do the best you can, and get more people to do it with you. And that's where we tell other people about us, and then they want to join us, and then we can do more. So thanks for everything that you do, and thanks for the impact on people around the world. And thank you very much for a great 3 years. And with that, I think we'll end the recording and say Happy New Year to everybody.